You're looking a little tan, Chris.
I am a little tan. I just got back from the beach.
Is it the shirt?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually not wearing a shirt.
Oh, God.
That is my skin color. But I actually took the stairs of Cirith Ungol right to the beach.
Sounds terrible.
It turns out that was not the name of the place I went, and that the stairs of Cirith Ungol are a different set of stairs that lead somewhere, and apparently not as nice as where I went, which was down the shore. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, the sun could actually rise.
Yeah.
Where we were.
It rose really high. It stayed out, and I absorbed all of it. Unlike Frodo, who absorbed none of it. He got no vitamin D. I got all the vitamin D.
Lucky you.
Yeah, or unlucky me in my case.
Well,
It depends on if you value sleeping, or if you, like, when you turn, you go, ah! And then you turn over because your back is sunburned.
and then you turn on the other sunburn part of you.
Yeah.
And you just roll constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then your wife slaps you on the arm and goes, time to wake up. And you go, ah! Anyway, good to see everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fool of a Took. We are here to talk about The Two Towers, Book 4, Chapter 8.
Yes.
Damn.
Good job.
Was that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I made that up.
Oh, the
That was good.
Is
That was pretty good.
Congrats.
How many chapters do we have left?
I don't know.
In the whole book?
In The Two Towers. I feel like we got to be near the end.
We
We're 8
have
chapters
two.
in. Two?
Two chapters.
There's 10 chapters total. We're at chapter 8. This is chapter 8, The Stairs of Cirith Ungol. This was a dope chapter, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Are you kidding me?
Last week, we talked about Chapter 7, Journey to the Crossroads. Faramir feeds the hobbits breakfast and loads them up with water, food, and some new walking sticks. He returns them to the forest and leaves them with a warning. A storm is coming. Frodo and Sam then continue their journey into Mordor, led by Gollum. They travel for 3 days as the terrain gets tougher, the atmosphere becomes stifling, and the daylight is nothing but a dead brown twilight. Finally, they reach the crossroads they were looking for. Frodo spots a defaced statue of a Gondorian king. He notices the head on the ground and experiences a moment of hope when he sees a living crown of flowers across its forehead.
You know what's really interesting?
What?
That this chapter didn't even address the statue head. I
Yeah.
thought for sure it was going to start off with one more addressing the significance of the lore or something, but it just moved on.
The one time it didn't.
Yeah, and I was like,
Purpose.
we-
It served its purpose. It gave Frodo hope, and we're moving on.
moving on. He flipped the card, said, "You got hope." He took a star. You know? Was it inspired?
He, was,
right?
he
Yeah,
became
It
inspired.
you become,
His XP went up 1.
yeah, got inspired. We're talking about a Lord of the Rings board game here.
Lore goes up by 0.
Lore goes up by 0.
Rude.
There's parts of this chapter that I really, really, really like, and I have a lot of notes on.
Yeah.
But this is truly the least amount of notes I've ever written in my life, in my entire life, in the last year of doing this podcast. I don't know what to do with only 12 notes. When do I just start talking now and say them?
Well, no, we're going to wait. We're going to wait.
We have to wait a little bit.
Look,
All
the
right.
fact that your boiling jello got 12 notes out at all is great.
I can't believe it happened. You should see my book, dude, because I was
so
like, I
disappointed.
want some color. We did 3 days down the shore, and I was like, I want some color because I'm one of the palest people on earth. We only had a weekend. We got to do a weekend down the shore before the baby comes. And so I was like, I'm getting color. I'm going to use the 12 instead of the 70.
It was a tanning oil.
I would like some skin damage, please.
I was like, yeah. And I sprayed myself every 30 minutes. There was a moment where I slipped off the chair onto the sand because I was so oily. I was reading the chapter on Friday at the beach. Next day on Saturday, I finished it and I took my book out. And all the pages were covered in this brown oil. And I was like, what the heck happened to my book? It turns out it was me. Just leaning on my stomach.
Ew.
So if you're planning on reading this or reading along with us, don't do it at the beach with, sunscreen oil all over your body. Let it dry first. Don't be a slippery whipply like I was.
I don't know how to follow that up. Slippery, whipply.
I was trying to count the number of baths that the hobbits might have had by this point in the story, and it probably isn't even 10.
When was the last time that Sam and Frodo took a bath?
They went to that garden in Gondor.
Oh, come on now, dunking your head in water. Oh no, they did. They went in
did.
the pool by
They
themselves.
fully immersed.
They did, yeah. All right, no soap, but cold water in a
Okay.
lake.
Good enough.
So not as stinky as they might be thought to be.
Yeah. And before that would have been Lothlorien.
A Lothlorien? That's so long ago.
Yeah.
What was it? 3 weeks ago?
Unless you count Sam almost
That's a
drowning.
while.
He
That's a
kind of
while.
got an accidental
That's-
bath.
Oh, true.
Yep. Yeah. And then before that would have been Rivendell.
Probably.
Man, these guys. They're gonna have 3 a day when they get home.
Right?
To make up for
It's
it.
the only
They'll
way
still
to be.
smell.
Well, that's if they get home. But if
Right.
and when they get home, they're gonna have to make up for it with extra baths.
If Frodo and Sam want a bath right now, they have very few options and none of them are good.
None of them are good.
Because
Gollum's gonna have to bathe them.
Gollum might be the cleanest one by virtue of the fact that he was the last one to dip in the water when he went
Yeah.
fishing.
Catching
True,
fish.
true.
Gollum is the cleanest one.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a second.
I think Gollum sweats.
He's
anymore.
gross but sanitary.
Like what? Like one of those naked cats?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
exactly
God.
actually. That's exactly what he looks like.
What? Like you wake up in the middle of the night, Sam opens one eye and there's Gollum like licking his own butthole.
his
All the
legs,
other
his legs behind his
Just,
head.
like, toes up.
all the other cats look at him like you're beneath us.
The wet chicken slaps.
Laura.
What?
This is a PG podcast.
It's not.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's the sound two naked cats make when they start slapping each other.
Yeah.
The wet chicken slaps.
Chris just had a whole journey. So anyway, speaking of journeys,
I pictured it. I decided against it. I moved on. I
A
went
video to show you later.
canceling this thought.
You're lucky you could do that.
so this chapter is a lot of fun. Not as much fun as we're having now, but it is fun. So the stairs of Cirith Ungol pick up immediately after the last chapter. Frodo and Sam have come to the next stage of their horrific journey, right? Because what Gollum is leading them to is a secret pass, a secret side door into Mordor. Because the front door is not a door. But Gollum is really just taking them to this side door. It is, and it's a side door to Mordor. So it's not a good place. It's not a good option, but it's the best one they have. Now remember, Faramir was like, Frodo, do not follow this naked lunatic up into Cirith Ungol. Do not, because that's the name of the pass.
Mm.
The pass, the actual route in is called Cirith
The
Ungol.
secret path that he's taking them on is called Cirith.
Right, that would be the pass. Pass is essentially a way to get through some mountains. So it
Oh.
might be like a low point between two peaks. It might be a valley, well, like a low, whatever. Point is that it gets you across the mountains. It's how you would walk over a mountain range.
Okay,
So in this case, they're one and the same.
Yes, the
Okay.
path,
And a pass.
but not
path-
always.
Correct.
Potentially.
yeah,
Okay,
the path leads to a pass.
got it.
And it's Cirith Ungol is the name of that
Got
pass.
it.
The pass of Cirith Ungol, right, is above the Morgul Vale, the valley in which Minas Morgul sits. Minas Morgul being the city of the Ringwraiths, the Tower of Sorcery, the place that was conquered by the Nazgul. It is their home. That is specifically where they live. And so that's where the chapter kind of starts off with Frodo and Sam and Gollum seeing the city. And it is a nightmare. It's a pale tower surrounded by a pale wall, and it glows, but it doesn't glow with moonlight. It glows with like a corpse light, like a sickly light. It doesn't illuminate anything. It's just this awful glowing nightmare tucked up in this valley that they're looking at. And what flows out of this valley is an awful little stream that, again, they were warned not to drink out of. But more than that, the tower is like studded with these awful dark windows that are just like, it's empty, it's evil, it's quiet. But the top of the tower is rotating, kind of, like almost like a lighthouse, kind of. Doesn't really get explained a whole lot, but it's menacing and it's mesmerizing. So that as Frodo and Sam and Gollum are staring at this seat of evil, this city of sorcery, they stand there and they look up at this tower and all the rest of it. And as they're mesmerized, they're standing there amongst these corpse-lit flowers. It's the same kind of light as the city. It's not shining light on anything. It is just glow in the dark nightmare shit. And it smells of like decay and rot. This stream that flows out of the Morgul Vale towards them is steaming, but with like a cold steam. It's like it's choking them. It's not like a hot steam. It's
Like a cold vapor or a
Yes.
mist.
yeah. It's like it's getting into their lungs. It's bad. And then there's this happy little bridge that follows this again glow in the dark road up to the city of sorcerers, up to the Tower of Sorcery. And the bridge is carved beautifully, but with grotesque nightmare things.
Oh,
And as they stand there looking at this bridge, Frodo feels himself just kind of like, I want to go there. I want to go to the tower and being drawn there. And his little arms shoot up, his little head rolls back, and he just kind of like zombies his way forward at like a trot. And Sam and Gollum freak the fuck out. Sam grabs him
Yeah.
around the middle and is like, no, we don't go that way. We're not going that
no go.
Frodo, no, go, no. And Gollum is like hissing himself, and it's all very bad.
did you say hissing or pissing?
I said hissing, I meant pissing. And
But he's also hissing, so it
Yeah.
fits.
When it's both, it becomes fissing.
and they just it gets frothy. But they kind of like shake Frodo out of it, and they kind of just like they're like, no, we're going this way now, and they walk him to this like break in a wall on the side of this glow in the dark nightmare road, and it leads to this path that goes up into the darkness. Gollum indicates to them, this is the road to Cirith Ungol. This is the road to the stairs. And it just kind of like winds off into the darkness as this little like side track and turns into this like cliffside path. It's a nightmare. And they get up there and it starts to level out, and Frodo sits his ass on a rock and is just like, I can't. I absolutely cannot. We can't go on, because Frodo just had a weird experience with some sorcery. He's not feeling good. The ring's been weighing on him like an anchor in a way it hasn't for a whole minute. And he looks weary. He is weary. And Gollum is just like tugging on his shirt going, no, this is a dumb place. This is how we die. This is a bad place. Because if we stay here, anyone who crosses that bridge will see us. That is the bridge in and out of this nightmare city. And they will see us, and then they will rip us into tiny little pieces, and then Precious will be gone forever, and Gollum will be very sad.
Yeah.
And Frodo says, all right, you know what? You're right. Okay, let's stand up and we'll go. And then suddenly, it's too late. Because there's an eruption. The ground rumbles, the rocks jump. There's a red light from across the mountains on Gorgoroth, inside of Mordor, the plain where the cracks of doom are. This red light and thunder and just a hideous amount of noise. It's terrifying. And then as soon as that ends, there's an answering call from Minas Morgul. Minas Morgul shoots blue flame and lightning from the top of the tower, from the hillsides around the city, up into the clouds. This blue light answers.
Mm.
And then there's this piercing shriek that rolls through the valley. And it builds and it builds and it builds until it goes beyond hearing. And they're kind of left shivering, crouched on the ground, terrified of what's about to happen. And what's about to happen is the gate to the city has opened. This carved like a hideous mouth gate is now open. And what's coming out of it is the host of Minas Morgul, the army of the city of the ring wraiths. They're all clad in black. Thousands.
Goths.
Yes.
Goths.
Dude, and they Jesus Christ. Goths.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, though. It is like, it's perfect. It's precise. They're marching in perfect precision, and it's dead silent. But at the head of this army, at the head of this dread host, is a rider clad all in black robes, except for a flickering crown. And Frodo realizes he knows who this is, because his old wound from Weathertop starts throbbing. Because this is the Lord of the Nazgul. This is the Witch King. And this is his army coming out of his city in his valley. And he gets to the foot of that grotesque little bridge, and the whole army stops. Because the Witch King senses something. And he starts looking around. And Frodo feels compelled to put the ring on. But Frodo knows consciously that the ring will betray him. This is not a smart thing for Frodo to do. Previously, he thought it would keep him safe, that he would be able to hide with it. In his heart, Frodo knows that he is not powerful enough to challenge the Witch King on any level. So remember, he tried that at the fort also. And what happened? He got magically slapped.
Yes.
Which is all good and well for Frodo. But Frodo's hand has other ideas because Frodo gets a little bit of evil hand syndrome. And Frodo's hand, against his will, starts moving towards the ring around his neck. He can't control it. He can't stop it. And just as he goes to close on the ring, instead, Frodo kind of awakes to the danger. Frodo realizes what's happening, and he grabs instead for the Phial of Galadriel, the gift that was given to him coming out of Lothlorien, the Phial of Starlight, the Phial of the Light of Galadriel. And he closes his hand around that, and suddenly everything changes. His mind is clear. He feels like a weight is off him, and the Witch King kind of like snaps out of it, and he's like, if there was something, there is nothing. And through the narration, we know that the Witch King is busy, and he knows he's busy. He has sent the message to his master, and he must march to war. And so he does a quick giddy up, and the army continues to move. It just flows out of the city, an endless line of black-clad, silent warriors. And it's terrifying. And the Witch King knows it is, but he also knows this is an army larger than the Númenóreans sent out of this city. This is a larger army than has ever come out of this place. And whatever's in the valley is not the Witch King's job today. That's not his concern. His job is to bring war to Gondor.
This is a bigger army coming out than the army that Faramir kind of saw. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even like the elephants and all that stuff, this is different. Okay.
Well, to give you an idea, Faramir had 300 guys.
Yeah.
So whatever formation Faramir ambushed could be destroyed by 300 guys, even with surprise. Thousands of warriors coming out of this city are not going to be killed by 300 guys, no matter who they are.
And what about in relation to, I guess it's Isengard?
Mm-hmm.
Isengard at one point had like a lot of people come out of it,
Yeah,
right?
they like 10,000 perhaps.
And they all went to Helm's Deep, right? Similar kind of like mega size army like that?
Big armies. These are armies that are going to these armies will topple Gondor. This is it.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Sounds like we need some more ints.
Yup.
I just really
Where's
want
the
to
Ent
take.
wives?
I just really want to take this Lord's name in vain. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So well, you know what? So does Frodo, because he looks at this and his heart sinks because he realizes he has fucked all the way up. They wasted so much time, weeks, months even, in the Shire, in Rivendell, in Lorien. All these things, all these delays mean that
17 years.
I'm not that you can't put that one on Frodo.
No, not that one.
But
At least a couple of months, though.
the point is that
that's true.
this army's moving now, and
Yeah.
Frodo is not done his task. Even if Frodo and Sam accomplish their mission, there might not be anybody left to tell, because this army is going to kill everyone. This is one of the armies that are going to kill everyone. Frodo kind of like has himself a very good cry on the ground and probably disassociates some because he is in the depths of despair in a way that we have not seen Frodo. And he sort of snaps out of it because he hears, "Hey, Mr. Frodo, wake up. Hey, hey." And it's like a voice from the Shire that's like, "Hey, your breakfast is ready. Hey, bud, Mr. Frodo."
Mr. Frodo.
Yeah, and it's Sam. And Sam's like, "Hey, wake up. We got to go. They're gone. We can leave." And Frodo remembers where he is, and he takes a breath, and he says, "You know what? That's not the point. The point is not that the people I know and love will live through this. The point is that this thing gets done. Even if there's no one to tell, even if the horrors of this war take everyone he knows, he has a job to do, and that's the job that must be done." And he kind of sits up, he looks around, and Gollum's like, "Oh, does everybody feel good? Are we ready? We had a good cry? Can we fucking go?" Because Gollum is getting very sassy. His whole mind is on, we can't get caught. Gollum is very driven. Gollum's absolutely gone from like gently leading the way to like hand holding and pulling and yanking toddlers. Like, no, we're not going down the toy aisle again. We are going up into the mountain pass. We're doing this. And so they all get up and they start to like climb this shitty little path. And this shitty little path leads up into like a cleft in the rocks, like almost like an elongated crack up the side of the mountain. And in it are carved the first staircase. And it's not stairs, it's more like a ladder. It's just a series of tiny cutout footholds that for a human being would probably be awful, but for a hobbit must be enormously problematic because it's like ladder steep. Do you remember when back in Lothlorien, Haldir was like, yeah, we have a staircase to get you to the top of this tree, and it was literally a ladder? Gollum has led them to a staircase, and it's not literally a ladder, but it may as well be. It is just, you lift, you reach up, you lift your body, you push. It is a whole body workout for these little hobbits, and it's just stair after stair after stair.
It probably was carved for a full-grown man size orc thing, maybe.
But it would be even more dangerous for some, because they're shallow. They're extremely shallow steps, like a couple of inches in places. They're broken in places. They're rounded off. So if you had a full-size boot to put on every one of those, like imagine trying to climb a staircase that was only, every step was only 1.5 inches deep.
It's like climbing bricks.
Yes. In total darkness.
No, thank you.
Honestly, I know there's no history of this as long as I read it before. It kind of reminded me of like maybe it was a hidden dwarf pass
Yeah.
from when the Gondorians were there and it was the Tower of the Moon.
Yeah. Like this is an old path. And they climb and their legs go numb and they give up hope and happiness, and their entire being is just pulling themselves up this like slope, basically. And then finally they look up and there's Gollum staring down at them going, oh, good job, everybody. Well done. We've made it to the top of the first stair. Come on, up you get. And Frodo and Sam collapse and they're ready to have a breather. And Gollum's like,
Oh, no.
No, not here. This is a bad place. Maybe at the top of the next stair, which is longer. And Sam's like, hold the fuck up. You also said there was a tunnel? Like, we got to climb another set of this shit to a tunnel? Then what? And then what? And Gollum's like, well, no, and then. You know, we'll see if you get to the tunnel, then we'll see if you get through the tunnel.
No, and then.
No, and then. And Sam just kind of lets that go. Frodo doesn't even register this stuff. He is wretchedly exhausted because, again, the ring is a physical weight on him in a way it has not been for a while. And he just got done having a mental battle with the Witch King. He just got done regaining control of his body not once but twice. Frodo's been through the ringer. Sam is also coming to the end of his like stamina. And Gollum is getting real cranky about everything. He's all go. He's not even pretending to be like, oh, nice little hobbits is nice master. He's like, get the fuck up. We gotta go. This is not the place for a rest. You can rest later. So the second stair blows because they take a little path up and the second stair is actually technically easier, but it is the winding stair. They just climbed the straight stair. The winding stair, instead of being basically a ladder up through a crack of rock where you've got rock on either side and you're just focused on up and forward, this thing crawls back and forth across a cliff face that slopes gently backward. So it's technically better. The second stair sucks though. It's an absolute fucking nightmare because it's still, again, it's pitch blackness. They've got nothing but wind around them now. And they don't even have that like closeness of the gap in the rock to make them feel like there's something solid. They're just kind of crawling up a mountain face on these shallow garbage, quote unquote, steps. And again, because they're hobbits, they're 3.5 feet tall. Imagine if a staircase was made out of stairs that came up to your hip.
I didn't know where you're going with that. And I heard, imagine if a staircase was made out of stairs. And I was about to be like, Patrick. What the fuck are we talking about here? But it came up to my hip?
Yeah, but they do it. They get to the top of the lower pass. because they're not through the mountains yet. They come up to the end of this like awful thing. They come to an actual short flight of steps. They get to the top of that. It lands them on this little landing, and they realize they can look down and see the Morgul Vale below them, see the valley that they just crawled out of. And if they look up, they can see against the red light of Gorgoroth, or maybe a shitty dawn. They can just make out these like dagger-like black mountain peaks above them. But they can see through, and they can see there's like a saddle, a drop, and a gap between the peaks. And they look up, and Frodo goes, "The fuck is that?" There's a tower. There's another guard post here at the top of this secret staircase. Sam looks at Gollum and is like, "Give me 3 reasons not to kill you. You said this was secret. You said this was unwatched. There would be no guards." And Gollum's like, "Technically, I said it would be unguarded, but I'm pretty sure they're all gone. So prove me wrong." There's no unwatched entrances into Mordor, fat boy. Are you stupid? Like, this is not how Mordor works.
I completely sided with Gollum here.
Technically, right? You gotta well
You're
actually.
like, dude, do you not think Sauron has every single way in watched? Like, of course he does. Of course he does. But you got to decide which one is the most watched versus the least watched.
Right. And that's kind of the whole point, was like, this is not a good choice. None of these are good choices.
Yeah.
You're trying to get into Mordor. All of your choices are bad. This one makes the most sense. And Frodo and Sam are like, "Yeah, I guess so. We don't got time." But you know what we do have time for is, I'm fucking starving. Sam sits down and he's like, let's have a break. Let's have something to eat. Let's consider our mortality. And so they do. They sit down between a couple of like outthrust rocks in this like relatively protected spot. Gollum curls up like kind of at the entrance. And Frodo and Sam have their last meal before they go into the nameless land, presumably before they go into Mordor proper. This might be their last meal. This might be their last meal ever. And they know it.
Yikes.
Because they don't know what's going to come next. But they're exhausted. And they're sitting here eating, and Sam looks around and he thinks about, like, well, what about water? What do we could do with water? Where are we going to find water in Mordor? Because we can't drink out of that god-awful stream we just found. I don't want anything to do with orcs. And Frodo basically agrees, and he says, technically, I think we're above the evil water that Faramir told us not to drink, so if we find something, maybe we should give it a shot. I don't know. Technically, it would be drinkable. And Sam looks at him and is like, technically, this place sucks. And if I had known, I might not have been so goddamn eager to come out of the door in the first place. Maybe I would have been happier in the Shire. And Sam takes a second, he's reflective, and then he says, but you know what? Like, maybe that's what every hero in every adventure ever has basically thought to themselves at one point or another. If I thought this was going to be easy, or if I knew it was going to be this bad, would I have done it? Would I have been this excited to go? Nobody knows until they get there. And Sam says, that's how it happened to Beren when he broke into Thangorodrim and stole a Silmaril out of the Iron Crown, which is a tremendous piece of lore that I'm not going to talk about because
It'll be a whole episode.
I'm just saying, guys, check the appendix. Or maybe watch Rings of Power? I don't know. Maybe we're going there. Who knows?
It's not really in there yet.
Son of a bitch. Well, you guys are going to love it.
That's okay. One day, Pat will watch Rings of Power, and it'll be 9 years from now because we're going to be so adamant about not having spoilers. It'll finally be canceled at some point, and then we'll watch it, and then we'll stay tuned for Full of a Ring of Power.
In the year 2045.
2045.
Oh my God.
Part 6 of this podcast.
But I mean, that is very funny. But like Sam makes the point that like all these stories are connected, right?
Yeah.
Because that light that was in the Silmaril, which is basically a gem, a very precious gem from like the before times, that light is partially what's captured in the Phial of Galadriel. It's partially the gift that Galadriel gave to Frodo. So the story never really ends. The light that Galadriel captured in Lothlorien and where it comes from and these properties is basically a direct line back to the creation of all things. And that's what Frodo has in his pocket.
And this dude's walking around like, hello, nice to meet you.
Uh-huh.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's very intentional. He has both the beginning and the end of the world
It's amazing.
literally around his neck.
It's crazy. This is crazy.
It's almost like one insane man wrote an entire mythology and then dropped it into a story about two little guys. It's great. But the point is that Frodo's like, yeah, the story doesn't ever end, but like people's parts in it end pretty regularly. And it doesn't always go well, but at least they don't know how it's going to end, because that would suck to know. And you have to remember that Frodo is like not planning on a return trip. Sam kind of goes into this little story mode where he has fun, and he says like, yeah, it's going to be like back in the Shire. Children are going to sit around a fire after dinner and say, Dad, tell me about the most famous hobbit of them all. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Dad, tell us about Frodo. Tell us about the most amazing hobbit to ever live and do the most amazing things ever. And he kind of goes into this little like story mode, and Frodo laughs. Like a real, actual, relieved, joyful laugh. For the first time those mountains have probably ever heard. Gollum,
Do you mind doing this laugh?
ha! Anyway,
Ah.
I'm not good at joy. It's not what I do.
I've never heard you laugh in real life, so.
I don't laugh. It's 2025, Chris. What's funny?
But
I grant you, if something was funny, it would be butts.
yeah.
But Gollum freaks the fuck out because like Gollum is again in like hyper alert, like terror mode. But Frodo is relieved, and he like feels joy again for a moment. And he's like, but don't forget about the most stalwart hobbit that ever lived, kids, Samwise. And Frodo would have gotten fuck all nowhere without Samwise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this kind of like touching, fun moment. And Sam kind of, daw. And then they just kind of take a breath. And Sam looks around. He's like, well, what about you, Gollum? Do you want to be a villain or a hero, you weirdo? And he's gone. And he's just gone. Gollum's gone again. And it's a question of like, oh, do you think he went to go tell whatever's living in that tower that we're here? And Frodo's like, kind of doesn't matter. But I don't think that he would, because he could have done it 100 times by now. And if he turns us into the orcs, he doesn't get the precious. So whatever he's got, if he's got anything, he thinks he's being real clever. And it's not anywhere as obvious as gonna tattle to us on some orcs. But fuck him, man. I'm so tired. I'm going to sleep. And Sam's like, all right, buddy, just put your head in my lap very platonically, and I will watch you sleep, and everything will be fine.
Hmm.
And so they do. And so Frodo falls asleep. And naturally, because Sam's on guard, he falls asleep.
Obviously.
Obviously. Not for the first, second, or third time. Sam falls asleep. And you wonder why Frodo doesn't have much hope. But this is how Gollum finds them when Gollum slinks back. And he sees them peaceful in this godless, awful place, in this hideous mountain pass at the top of the Ethel Duoth. And he feels something. Like he feels something old. Something that remembers people and company and family and fraternity and like touch and light and all these things that Gollum has not felt in ages and ages. And Tolkien says that if the hobbits had seen him in that moment, Gollum would have looked like a tired, starved, sad old hobbit, lost. And then Gollum reaches out, and he doesn't paw at Frodo. He doesn't reach for the ring. He just reaches out and gently touches Frodo. And Frodo starts in his sleep, and so that starts Sam awake. Sam sees Gollum touching Frodo and freaks out. Hey, sneaker, what are you doing? And Gollum's like, fuck you, nothing. I didn't sneak in. I wasn't doing shit. Why are you an asshole? And so into this kind of like argument, Frodo kind of comes awake and he's like, all right, hold on. Because we got to figure out what's going to happen next with you, Gollum. Because we're coming to the end. I asked you and made you swear to get me into Mordor. And once we get to the top of this pass that we can see, it's over. You're done. I release you. You do not have to accompany us any further. What do you say, Dobby? Dobby want to be free?
Dobby gets a sock.
Dobby gets a sock. Well, Dobby freaks the fuck out, and Gollum's like, no, absolutely not. You cannot find your way. At least not to the tunnel. You don't know the way. I will show you the way to the tunnel, but you guys don't know. And Frodo's like, all right, well, I guess you'll guide us to the tunnel then. They have this moment, they have this exchange, and the hobbits are left just outside of Mordor proper. And that's where this chapter ends.
Interesting.
I know.
There's so many moments in this chapter where I'm like, oh my God. Like when the Mordor, like the lights go off and the thunder cracks, and all of a sudden the tower's like, oh, someone's nearby, send out an army. Like I'm sitting there like with like the hair on my neck is raising up. I'm so nervous and tense from it. And then there's other times where Gollum's just like caressing Frodo's head. And I'm like, what is going on?
We're describing rocks.
Yeah, what is going on here? So I don't know. Really interesting chapter, really dynamic and tone setting. I'm very curious about where we're going to go next chapter. I feel like it is officially time to be done with the Frodo, Sam, Gollum train. I'm done with it. This is like chapter 5 or 6 of that or whatever the heck it is. I'm done with it.
Half a book.
7. I'm done with it, man.
Yeah. The chapter was really touch and go for me. Just like you said, some parts were so beautifully written and easy to imagine and like action packed. And then others were like, he's describing rocks. I'm so tired of this.
Oh, come on. We got drama. We got humanity, even in Gollum, for God's sake. We got fireworks. we got a callback to now probably the second most evil thing in Middle Earth. And then we even had some like good old like evil hand like kind of like
Some
jokes.
Sam Raimi shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys are complaining.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Laura. This was a very horror-based chapter to me.
That's true.
And so I thought you would be all over it.
I was really into the part when the army came out and the Witch King stops.
The king,
and
the king of the Morgul Vale.
the King of the Wraiths, right?
Yeah, you said which king?
That's not what
Tomato, tomato.
Anyway,
Straight to divorce.
those billboards, $600 divorce.
Hi, everybody. I think I'm free.
You're right. I really, really liked that part.
Yeah.
But like, the descriptions of the steps and the mountains and everything was getting to be a bit much. But one thing that I absolutely loved when they described was the Tower of the Moon and its 600 other names. What do we got? Minas Ithil, Minas Morgul now.
Mhm.
What else?
It's the city of the Witch King. It's the Tower of Sorcery.
I loved that Tolkien described how it used to contain imprisoned moonlight welling through the marble walls of Minas Ithil long ago. I love that phrase. I like highlighted it a million times. I thought that was so cool.
Didn't you love the juxtaposition of what it is now?
Yeah.
That was my favorite line in the whole chapter.
Oh, go for it. Read it for me.
Yeah, it says, like a noisome exhalation of decay, a corpse light, a light that illuminated nothing. Yeah. So it went from this beautiful stolen moonlight to literally the light of death. Like it's not really lit up, but it's sort of just this hanging foreboding of your demise.
Yeah, it was
incredible.
Great juxtaposition.
Yeah.
And I just loved the way they described it in the before times.
And it sort of goes great with that point I made last chapter where the enemy cannot create their own evil. They can only take and destroy the positive and the light.
Mm-hmm. I loved that. That was a really fun start to the chapter.
Picturing the light bouncing around, it made me wonder about like the grout. Like maybe there was just poor grouting. And like there's little hints of you ever see
it was
that?
about to fall
Just
off.
Yeah.
like bioluminescent grout.
Yeah. You ever go into like a barn? You're in barns all the time. You go to the barn. I don't know if you go to a barn at nighttime maybe, but there's like you see little hints of moonlight coming through like the cracks.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, this is beautiful. Like I imagine like I've been in some stone places. We went to Ireland, we saw some old castles. They're not held together with modern day grout and
They're
fucking
crumbling.
shit. And so you get these little beautiful cracks of moonlight that just maybe there's a little haze in the air and it just like illuminates in the sky and it's very magical,
Yeah.
I imagined
it.
that when I was reading that.
I like it when it's light outside and it's dark inside the barn or the shed or whatever, and the sunlight goes in through the cracks.
Yeah, exactly.
Was the top of the tower really revolving? Like, what was that about? It made me think of a lighthouse.
Kinda, yeah.
I just think it was a beautiful metaphor for like how present the Nazgul are, because you have to remember they're wraiths. So they're not really of this world or of the dead. They're sort of half and half. They don't belong in either. And so there's this really great sentence where it says...
They're like Creamer.
like first one way and then another, a huge ghostly head leering into the night. Now, I don't think he literally means like a giant head was like looking around.
But something in the sky was turning like a
But
head
there's
would
some
turn.
menacing light. Almost like it is a face searching for an enemy.
Yeah,
And
it's
does
like
it-
coming
does it
out of the
spot
tower.
them? Or no?
Not really.
No, yeah, because it doesn't come out till the light show and when the army's being called.
It comes across when it's like Mordor blows up with red and lightning strikes it. It comes across like it sees them, and then it's like a call and answer thing.
Yeah, so part of it is kind of like contextually, we don't get a solid answer right now. That's number one. Like we don't really get a hard answer from the chapter, from the material as presented at this moment, for all of you guys who have read ahead. So yeah, this is worth discussing about how it's presented to us and how it changes our perception of Frodo and Sam and Gollum's experience in that valley, right? It's wild, and it fits with other things that Tolkien has told us about stuff from old Numenor, right? We get these drops, we get like proper nouns, we get explanations of stuff, and he really likes to just kind of like breadcrumb these things along. It's an interesting breadcrumb, and it really promotes discussion, but I think the thing to take away from this is that, again, back to RJ's point, this is a place that was created by something else, which is now inhabited by evil.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is, it's not necessarily of the enemy.
And it has a smell to it.
The whole place stinks.
So what's a
Smells like-
charnel mean?
Charnel.
Charnel is like the smell of death and rotting, like
Mhm.
corpse
Yeah.
Like a
smell.
charnel house is a house of death.
Okay. That makes a little bit more smell, Emma said.
It makes a little more sense.
A little more sense.
I meant to say that makes a little more sense, and I thought of one of the senses in my head, and I thought smell, and it makes a little more smell.
It makes more sense.
I had a
It
question
would.
though. Did anybody else pick up on the use of the words haunting and taunting in the singular sentence?
No.
No, which one was that?
It's right after the charnel smell. Tolkien writes that the place had it was haunting and taunting. And I thought, why not just combine both words into haunting?
Or
Taunting?
taunting.
Or
Taunting.
It reminds me of Super Mario. You go into the haunted houses and the
Haunted?
ghosts. No, it's a haunted house.
Oh, geez.
Haunted houses. Did you guys notice that Sam got a new name in this chapter?
Samwise?
No.
Fat boy.
No.
I don't think so. What was it?
Sam Lad. One word.
Was it Frodo?
Called
him that?
He said, "It's heavy, Sam Lad."
Sam Lad.
Yeah,
Oh,
Frodo said it to him.
That's so cute.
Well, there is a
Sam
big
lad.
age difference. I always forget that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Frodo's much older than Sam.
Yeah. And it's funny, he calls him Sam Lad. That's such a cute name.
It is. Yeah.
It is cute.
They got nicknames now.
It's
Yeah.
a lot cuter than what Sam called Gollum.
Yeah.
Sneaker.
Sneaker.
And Stinker.
Stinker.
Called him the
Sneaker.
Sketcher. What do you want, Payless shoes?
Oh my God. And I'm glad you pointed that out. That totally went over my head because I was so concerned with Frodo once again becoming a zombie to the thrall of the ring. I was like, no, not again.
Like Frodo is just straight up losing control of his body at this point, and that's really not a good sign for Sam.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like literally his arms go up, his head's lolling from side to side. I was like, wow, that's really visual.
Like he's just like a toy on a line. He's just like running
A marionette
for it.
doll. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very Walking Dead.
Imagine you're the guard at the door, and this like zombie child comes stomping up to you. 50-50, I cut it in half.
Yeah.
So the one thing that happens right after the mouth-shaped gate opens and the Witch King comes out, right? And he's sort of like, he's pronounced and he walks out, or he's on a horse.
Yeah.
But the
He
horse,
rides out.
The horse is very
horse
pronounced.
is, it's
The
doing
horse
its
is very
thing.
pronounced.
It's strutting. Thank you. That's the horse term for it. I was going to say stalking. He's known as a Witch King.
Of Morgul Vale.
One, feels a bit sexist to be calling the Witch King a man. I feel like the Witch King should be a woman, in which case it's, I guess the right terminology is Witch Queen.
I'm presuming there is some context here that we have not learned yet.
But why is there a king of witches? And are the other 8 of the 9 considered the witches? In which case, what the fuck?
Well, if you go back to like even King Arthur, there's male and female witches.
Oh,
It's only in modern stories that witches are female and wizards are male. There were female wizards. There was a lot of different
Female
stuff.
wizards.
Yeah, there's just different kind of classes of
In my head,
sorcerers.
wizards and witches are equal. Wizard is the male language,
well,
and
who's
witch
sexist
is
now?
the female. The people who wrote these
J.K.
books.
Rowling. Next. No, it's
You go.
okay. I was gonna say no. Really, though, the thing is that the contemporary understanding of witch, right? WITCH. It is associated with like evil women in black hats, right? That's kind of a sexist construct. Because if you go back to what RJ is saying, witch, wizards, sorcerers, warlocks, all this stuff,
Mages.
mages, magus, all of it is just a term for weird magical people. And in popular culture, witches became exclusively female pretty recently.
But also, wizards became exclusively male.
Right, exactly.
Was there, before that happened, was there a delineation between a wizard and a witch?
Well, first off, especially in Tolkien's world he's created, witch doesn't necessarily mean female. There are male witches in several different stories and in history. Like even in Pennsylvania, there were male witches burned at the stake and hung. And I've even been to it in New York County. But in this context, I think witch is actually more of a negative connotation for a sorcerer, just to try to like put it in more simple terms necessarily than like a different class level of magician, if you want to use that terminology.
Would you say a sorcerer is equal to a wizard? And is a wizard a sorcerer?
Well, not really sorcerer. Well, there is sorcery and there is the levels of magic in this world. And without going ahead or behind and like pulling from the appendices or things like that, there are different hierarchies of power, but it's like sort of a good and an evil.
Yeah, it's by the way, read the appendices, but it's not a technical definition. It's not like, okay, the Witch King is technically more powerful than a
Right.
wizard without a king wizard. RJ absolutely nailed it on the head where it's a negativity. It's a dichotomy that's not divided by sex. It's positive and negative. Wizards, and wizard is a title given to the White Council. Saruman, Radagast, Gandalf, the Blue Wizards, and then other sorcerers are given other titles, and it makes them it makes them separate and lets us know as readers that they are different and probably bad. When Sauron is in Dol Guldur in southern Mirkwood in his fortress there in the Hill of Sorcery, he's called the Necromancer. That there's no technical definition. It's just an awful title. And in the same way that the Witch King of the Morgul Vale, the Witch King of the Nazgul is a very negative title, it doesn't necessarily equate to wizard in any way, but it does denote that we are dealing with the chiefest of these evil sorceress creatures.
It's like
Yeah.
different flavors of sorcerer.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
It just lets you know that the Nazgul are categorically different than Gandalf.
I think too, and I might be wrong, but you have to remember all the Nazgul were like lords or kings in their day,
Humans.
but he is the witch king. So that means he's not just a normal lord or king, he is a witch. Like he had magic somehow.
And he still
That's-
does because he
yeah.
slapped Frodo at the ford. It's true.
Does that make it a little more clear?
It makes it a little less unclear.
Perfect.
All right. That's good enough.
You know
I
what?
guess.
Better.
That's as good as you're going to get without going into the appendix.
Yeah.
I am curious on whether or not this Witch King has like a pointed hat and a fucking broom to ride on.
No, we just went over. He rides a horse and he has a flickering crown.
It's a
So
helmet.
he
that
does
has
have a
crown on
pointed
it.
hat.
There's no
And
pointed
he
hat.
does ride on a broom then.
It has
Incorrect.
points, and unless the horse's name is Broom, no.
Damn. Maybe it is. We
Honestly,
don't know.
it might
Did
be.
you
It
even
could
care
be.
to ask what the horse's name was?
Damn it, Pat.
I
You should
probably
be
can
more
look it up in the,
inclusive of the witches' councils.
I can probably look it up in the
Horses.
appendix, which again y'all should read.
Well, real quick, before we really get off topic, did anyone else really enjoy that? Speaking of the Witch King and his magic, Frodo's wound that was given to him by the Witch King starts to hurt him. And the Witch King stills and senses Frodo behind him.
Of course.
He
There's
can't
a link.
see him, but that's crazy to me. Like how he like marked his victim.
The problem is with that is that the
Yeah.
Witch King ultimately reveals that he's an idiot.
No, but wait.
Yeah,
there's a
because
but.
he notices that there's a link between them. He senses that Frodo is somewhere. He stops.
Prey that
he
got
looks
away.
up at the general area of Frodo, and then he goes, it must have been nothing.
But don't you remember why?
Well, it
and this
cut-
is once
it cut
again
out.
the
He
magic
touches to the light.
of the dark and the light magic in the book. Galadriel once again, she can shield them from the evil.
You can't see me.
Yeah, all this way away, her magic is so strong that Frodo just clutches it to his heart, and all of a sudden the guy loses his connection and moves on with his orders. That's insane. I love this part of the chapter.
That's true.
Plus, the narration of that moment makes it clear that in the Witch King's mind, he has a job that's bigger than finishing off whatever little mortal he might have stabbed at some point.
Right.
Like
True.
his boss just told him, get the army out the fucking door and go to Gondor.
I guess the interesting thing that's worth calling out here is that in the story, the lore of the Lord of the Rings, in Tolkien's world, we're the only people who give a fuck about Frodo. Everybody else is doing whatever the fuck they're doing.
only
Not
ones.
true.
Yeah.
Gandalf specifically wrote him off.
Yeah. All of us are like, what's Frodo doing? Everybody else has moved on.
Except Sam.
Dude, literally
And
fucking, we got our hunters who literally decided they were like, well, we got to go after Merry and Pippin and then we're going to fight a war. We got the whole Mordor with Sauron, who thought he was after hobbits, and then, everything changed. Turns out Saruman's a fuckhead. He went after him, sent the dude in the sky after him. We are the only ones that actually care. And so now that you say that, it makes so much sense. This Witch King is coming out, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to find Frodo. But it's like, dude, he doesn't give a fuck about Frodo. Just, that's a little groundhog in his garden that he stabbed.
I hate groundhogs.
And it's a little bit of an annoyance that he senses him probably, but he's on a much bigger mission, which is go kill people.
I think the elves still care about Frodo.
I think the elves care about Frodo about as much as you, Laura, care about when you have to sneeze and you go, and then it goes away. And then 7 hours later, are you thinking about that moment when you went,
I don't think so at all.
You're not.
After the Council of Elrond, you think they just forgot about him? Like a
They
sneeze?
forgot it even existed.
No
None of them are in
way.
danger.
No way.
Not one of them is in danger. They got a cruise ship at 7 p.m. 28 days from now. They're getting on.
I'm seeing a lot of heads shaking over here.
I don't think the elves don't care about Frodo. I think they've written him off as like a hopeless mission.
Yeah.
They're packing their
Yeah.
bags. They're getting ready to hear that Sauron has the ring again.
Yes.
And they're trying to figure out the fastest way to the Grey Havens.
That is
So
what's
they're
been
assuming
communicated
he
this
will
whole
fail.
time.
Yes. The
But that's
only,
not the same as forgetting about him.
Here's the thing, though. The only elf that's actively thinking about Frodo is Legolas, and I've got $50 that says he thinks they found him already.
I actually interpreted it a much different way. So I think that all the powers to be, or all the people that are trying to get these groups together to take down Sauron, they actually are purposely not putting a lot of energy or attention into Frodo. Because if he's inconspicuous, that's maybe the only hope he has to slither in and sneak in to Mordor. Because if they have this whole team around him and they're all like, for Frodo, like obviously the enemy's going to find out. There's spies everywhere. I mean, certain wildlife like birds. The enemy has eyes literally everywhere. So they have to purposely ignore him. But I think secretly they are not ignoring him. I think especially Gandalf, everything they're doing is seemingly for him. It just can't be obvious. It's like a really good chess match.
Yeah.
You know, your play is going to be hidden to the very end.
There it is.
Right.
That's the whole point of their mission, is to do the one thing that nobody will expect. Just destroy the ring.
Well,
Right.
that was a point that Gandalf made when Pippin looked into the Palantir, into the Seeing Stone, and Sauron saw him and laughed and said, I got you for later, kid. The whole point was that Sauron didn't bother delving into Pippin's mind long enough to learn all the secrets, to learn that, oh my God, they're going to destroy the ring.
Right.
Yeah.
Because remember, according to Gandalf and them, Sauron's biggest fear is that someone powerful, like one of the wise, like Galadriel, like Elrond, like Gandalf, is going to take the One Ring and use it to kill Sauron. That's his big fear. Not that two lost children and a hairless cat are going to sneak through the side door and whip it into the volcano.
Right. Can we talk about the Phial of Galadriel?
That was pretty cool.
I was kind of blown away because I forgot that he even had this thing.
He did too, apparently.
Yeah. Luckily, he fucking his hand. Well, first of all, you can't talk about the Phial of Galadriel without talking about the obvious draw that J.R.R. Tolkien drew in 1954 from the hit movie Evil Dead in 1979.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think Sam Raimi's a genius, and Tolkien took a lot of his writing from Sam Raimi.
Writing, his inspiration from Bruce Campbell's dead hand in that movie. It's uncanny how much he drew from that.
Aragorn is almost a 1-for-1 remake of Bruce Campbell.
Now that you say that, I agree.
I'm going to go jump off a bridge. Bye.
What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Listen, if you have suicidal thoughts, do it on your own time. But we're not fucking.
Oh my God.
Wait, Chris, have you just never had a train of thought that your wife would rather kill herself than listen to?
I'm sure she's had a million, but she doesn't tell me.
But what Bruce Campbell did not have was the Phial of Galadriel, which is not like a file like
So
F-I.
true.
Right. Like not F-I-L-E, not like a manila folder full of secret names
Or a
that
nail
no one wants
file.
to be released, but rather file, P-H-I-A-L, which is like sort of like a little glass jar.
Like a vial.
Yes,
With
a
a-
vial,
With a V.
but a fancy vial. And so fancy they can't,
Fancy with a PH.
fancy with a PH. Latin fancy.
Yeah, I love that this gets brought up and that after all these chapters of it not even being mentioned, you almost forget as a reader that Frodo is still wearing it.
I forgot.
And then when his
forgot.
hand is possessed and his hand gets close to where the file is, his will takes over again. He comes back into his body, into himself, and his hand clutches the light in the dark, this gift she gave him. And she somehow, probably in her mirror, saw this moment. And she gifted him this with a reminder to use this in the darkness. And he does. And it saves him from the Witch King. And it's just really cool to see how this gift served him in that moment. And I feel like this is just, we do hear the file get brought up twice in this chapter, but I don't think that's it. Like, I think it's really cool. This is the gift she selected for the ring bearer. Something seemingly simple, but it's really the most powerful gift she bestowed.
I love that idea that she could have seen this moment in her mirror. And that was
Right?
why this was the right gift for him.
Because I don't remember the exact quote she says, and I'm sure everyone's going to jump on and comment as soon as this gets posted. But-
If you lose this, I'll kill you.
But she says something to him basically like, this will be a light when there is none, or in the darkness or something like that, to that effect.
That's exactly what it was.
And that's literally what happens here. And I'm like, that's such a cool callback to her and her mirror and who she was and is for them.
So after the whole file situation, Frodo, the riders pass, the army passes, and Frodo sinks into a new level of despair, I think, that we haven't seen yet. And it's probably not the first time he said all is lost, but he very much feels it and means it. My favorite part of that paragraph is when, his heart goes out to Faramir and he says, the storm has burst at last. Because what did Faramir say to him? The storm is coming.
Yeah.
So he just is feeling like, it's done. Why am I even here?
He realizes he probably is too late, but all he can do is keep going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get as far as he can get.
Yep.
Well, speaking of Frodo being filled with despair, he kind of like pulls himself together. They keep going. And then once again, he's complaining about he doesn't like it at all. He hates the terrain. He doesn't want to be doing this. And I think one of the most important parts of the chapter where Sam starts to talk about storytelling and sort of starts to go on this great discussion with Frodo of I wonder what sort of tale we've fallen into.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like how they kind of break the fourth wall.
Yeah, I thought that was really cute. I feel like we got a glimpse into Sam's definition of what an adventure is versus what they're doing. Because he says, I used to think that adventures were something that people went out and did when they were bored because they wanted something interesting in their lives. And now I know that it's something that you're just thrust into and you don't have really a whole lot of choice on how it goes or how it ends. But you just have to keep going. And even if it ends poorly, those are the people that get stories written about them.
Yeah, and I also love that he mentions that if you do have a choice, you could stop and turn back, but then you would no longer be in the story.
Yeah.
And Sam is such a lover of stories, like that is impossible. That's an impossible choice for him to make. And so it's that really beautiful moment of they're realizing that it's going to get worse and things are already pretty terrible, but maybe this will be bigger than them. And maybe they'll live on in time and history, no matter how far they get. And I think that's really comfort to both of them in this moment. And it kind of just once again reminded me of, Tolkien's experiences in the war, how men must have felt overseas in the trenches, being like, I wonder if they'll talk about me back home.
Yeah.
And about a comfort that could have given them some sort of solace in a really terrible moment.
The fact that you will live on, your actions and your story will live on beyond you.
Right.
And like for Frodo and Sam, that's a really poignant moment because once again, Frodo's plan is to throw the ring into Mount Doom, and that's if they make it that far. Sam is the only one of those two hobbits that has any real hope of continuing on afterwards. That's because Sam wants to go home. He wants to see his gaffer. He wants to plant a little garden. He wants to make sure Mr. Frodo gets his breakfast. That's it.
Also, Sam is delusional.
Well, you need a little bit of that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, do you remember when
Frodo's
he got...
like, we're probably going to die on this mission. And Sam's like, we are probably, but also when I get back, I do want to fix the gutters.
And I got to see elves.
Yeah.
Well, but really though, that's a really interesting highlight on the humanity and the way in which Frodo and Sam are engaging with kind of their own mortality and their own context for the story that they're in, and the way they see themselves and the way they hope things will end. Mm-hmm. It's really sweet that Frodo is making an acknowledgement of how foundational and how important that Sam is to Frodo, but also to this story.
Yes.
As readers, we can appreciate that Sam is the one holding these things together.
Mm-hmm.
Frodo bears the ring, Sam bears Frodo.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't fully get that until we started reading it. At least for me, it didn't come across as much in the movies. That being said, I haven't seen Two Towers in ages. I also really liked how Frodo has been compartmentalizing all of these tasks that he has to do. And like, this is such an insurmountable, impossible objective to achieve. But he's like, as long as we've gotten over this mountain, we've succeeded. And he just does that one task at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great little project manager.
I was going to say, does he have a Gantt chart?
The last thing I want to bring up real fast before we end and transition to food for thought is there's this moment with Gollum, and he's like very vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
When he's like kind of caressing Frodo. And I just fell for the animal, man. I just fell for him in this moment when he's like reaching upon him. And Tolkien says that, like, if you were to see Gollum, he would be presented almost like an old, worn down hobbit. And granted, I get where Tolkien's coming from. I don't want to discount that. But to Sam's credit, a murderous creature was touching his master's knee. He could have bitten it off, kneecap and all. Sam's job is to protect him. I stand with Sam. Sneaker.
Well, yeah.
Sneaker.
I just thought it was a really interesting glimpse into Smeagol's past life.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
His past humanity.
Fuck him.
It only lasted a second, but
Real
it was
quick,
there.
When I saw this, like Laura, you just said that Sam bears Frodo. Here he's literally bearing Frodo. Frodo falls asleep in his lap. His head is in Sam's hand. Sam's holding his heart to make sure he's still breathing. And Sam accidentally falls asleep, probably to the rhythm of Frodo's breath. And it's in the most platonic, wholesome, peaceful way. And when Gollum, this creature that is hollow inside, like he literally tells Faramir, I am nothing. The ring has literally devoured all of him for the most part. He's barely anything left that he once was.
He's eating
When he
babies.
looks upon this, he's filled with like peace, and he remembers love and touch and friendship and things he hasn't felt. I mean, this is a really beautiful moment. And then he goes to gently caress Frodo's knee, very gently, and he transforms into just this shrunken, worn old hobbit that has, for the first time in how many years, remembered, friends and kin in his youth.
I don't know. It's a classic fake out to me.
So two things. One, if Sam's job was to keep Frodo safe, he needs to stay the fuck awake.
Agreed.
Well, he does need to
Yeah.
stay awake.
For like the third or
Agreed.
fourth time he's failed. That's how people die. The fact that they haven't died is amazing, but
It actually is a testament to Gollum to not killing them.
right. So point one for Gollum.
Point one for Gollum. He's had all his time to kill him and he keeps not killing him. I get that because Jesus Christ, Sam is fucking up constantly.
Right, but Sam is also on Gollum's last nerve. For real.
Yeah.
Like he's not even playing nice anymore. The other thing though is that Gollum is also in this moment shown to us as readers to be a victim of the ring.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
He is the same as Frodo could be.
Mm-hmm.
I take issue with this.
Okay.
You ready for a hot take? Hot take.
No.
Full of a hot take.
You need a new
Which
jingle.
king is a victim of the ring?
I mean, yes.
But nobody felt bad.
Because he's still a bad guy,
So's Gollum.
but he's helping a
He's
good
doing
guy.
a good thing.
And so was the Witch King by looking away.
That's not
That
how
was
that
not
That was
intentional.
Galadriel's power. That wasn't him looking away.
He still looked away.
Because Galadriel was like hide and seek. She's like, poof.
Bad guy being bad at his job is not the same thing as a good guy being good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So following that logic, Gollum,
Uh-huh.
who is a bad guy,
Uh-huh.
Is he a villain
is
or a
bad
hero?
at his job
He's
because he succumbs to the emotion of the journey.
Well, the thing with Gollum, he's not just one guy. There's two personalities. in
Gollum
there.
is classically, oh my God.
What?
Gollum's Javert.
God.
Oh no, he's not. Because
Jesus
Javert
Christ,
doesn't
you
talk
did
to
it.
himself.
And also, Gollum's not French.
Gollum's Javert.
He's torn. Is he torn?
He knows
is
what
Gollum
he must
actually
do.
Torn?
He
Yeah.
knows what he
Two
must do.
personalities
And he's
argue with
torn,
himself.
And he looks to the stars and he goes, stars
And he looks down to the
in
fish.
your multitude.
He doesn't like yellow face.
I
He's
swear
not
to
looking
God.
up. He's looking down.
Down. Look down.
It goes back to life is, I swear to God.
Oh, fuck.
And he knows what he has to do, but he can't do it. But he forces himself to do it. Whatever's about to come, it's not coming because he wants to do it. It's because he has to do it. Because he has to do whatever he has to do to achieve what he needs to achieve.
Yeah,
be
he's the
free.
perfect
And
antagonist
it will
to Frodo.
eat him
He's doing
alive,
the
and
same
he will
thing.
suffer the consequences.
Right. Unless against all odds, though, Gollum's humanity, what's left in there, surfaces, right? Because that's the thing. Smeagol and Gollum is a dichotomy. There's still two creatures trapped in that body. They're both victims of the ring. And to your point, so is the Witch King. But the Witch King hasn't shown us as readers that there's anything except evil in there.
I would disagree. He had the chance to kill Frodo. He didn't. He merely stabbed him in the shoulder.
He gave it a
he tried.
goddamn good
He
try.
simply failed. That's not the same.
Oh, I don't know if you would consider that a failure. He left him under the device of the assumption that he would probably succumb to it, but he could have stabbed him 11 times more.
I don't think he
But
did that
he
out
did
of the
not.
goodness of his heart.
He stabbed him once and went, that's enough.
Isn't that when Aragorn came in with the fire?
Well, look, to be fair,
well, that-
a little guy gets a little knife.
Yeah.
Well, if your knife's gonna melt in the sunlight
I'm
afterwards,
just
you really gotta
saying,
conserve
on a scale
ammunition.
of 1 to 10, 10 being the most evil thing possible, and number 1 being a dandelion, I would put him at like a 7 based on that action.
So, okay.
He could have been somebody who stabbed 14 times, but he didn't.
So you think there's hope for the Witch King?
I think there's hope for the Witch King.
That's
Interesting.
beautiful.
He's a victim. That's what I'm saying. He's also a victim. He's a victim of the ring, of his own ring. And suddenly he was forced to serve Sauron.
Well, he chose it with his greed, but
No, I think Sauron the Deceiver is a well-earned title. It's whatever or whoever or whatever the Witch King wanted when he was a mortal man is dead, though.
I agree.
And
I think that you cannot be harsh in critiquing of the Witch King and the choices of the Nazgul unless you are willing to make that same judgment against Durin.
That's an amazing point, though, right? Because doesn't Sauron make slaves of all his servants?
Correct. That's my point exactly.
That's
if there's
a
anything
profound
I've
statement.
taken away from this book so far is that so many beings in Middle Earth have been corrupted by the ring. Who are we to judge them if they are equally corrupted by the ring?
Well,
you know?
Gollum was directly corrupted by the ring, as in, like,
Well, he was
had it
corrupted
in
by
his being.
Sauron's one ring. There's
right,
other
right.
rings for sure.
And like everybody else, sure, like the ring was part of their corruption, but that was the difference. Like Gollum had this thing on him and it corrupted him directly versus everyone else was perhaps corrupted indirectly through Sauron.
I disagree. The Witch King had his own ring.
True.
Right, one of the
And
nine.
he was corrupted by his ring.
Is that true?
Yes, 9 rings to the
The
men.
those were cursed.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then
He was
through the
corrupted by a
one
cursed
ring, Sauron was able to control
That's
them.
the first paragraph of the first thing of the Fellowship of the Ring. Says
Yeah.
that.
Well, they had their rings, but it doesn't necessarily mean they were all corrupted. The elven rings
The
weren't
elves-
corrupted.
Bingo.
The only ones that
So there's a lot.
Well,
there's a lot of
Galadriel's
stuff going.
pretty corrupted.
No,
Yeah. She was flashing her hoo-ha, you know.
Oh my God. No,
Galadriel's mirror is not a metaphor. I said that as a joke.
so there's more to the elven rings than we know now in the story, but they are slightly different than the other rings.
Okay.
I'm so
I
hungry.
can't wait to find out more.
If the line in the sand is drawn by something that forces manipulation, that forces, seclusion and evil and horrible thoughts and darkness, can you really blame the people that are sucked into that line? And that makes me have empathy for some of the darker characters.
Does that mean, on your scale, that the Witch King is less evil than Bill Ferny?
Bill Ferny will always be of his own choice. He had no ring. He is the worst of them all.
I love this litmus test. Are you worse than Bill Ferny?
Okay, ready?
Bill Ferny's a 10.
Who's worse?
Okay.
Who's
okay,
worse?
okay,
I'm going to ask you guys a question.
okay,
Ready?
Okay.
Who is worse?
Mhm.
The high school jock who makes fun of somebody who's a nerd because they seek popularity and the applause of people in the cafeteria to see them, right? Or the people who laugh at what the jock is doing.
Who's worse?
Who's worse?
I think you give it to the jock.
Yeah, fuck him, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. We got food for thought.
Well, what I wanted to say real fast is I love that you brought up Bill Ferny because you're like, he's a 10 of how terrible he is compared to the Witch King. The Witch King takes great care of his horse. Bill Ferny
Ooh.
starved his pony.
Ooh.
Bill Ferny can rot
Thank
in
you
hell.
for reinforcing my point, my love.
Oh, I agree. Bill Ferny's the absolute worst. He's up there with Sauron for me.
Yeah.
Damn.
The Witch King is just simply a great man on the wrong side.
So it goes Sauron, Balrog, Bill Ferny, Witch King.
They all were given cloaks. And he was like, really? And they were like, yeah. And he was like, but how are they going to know I'm like, cool?
I want to be taller.
And they were like, well, I guess you could put like a fucking crown on if you're a dickhead. And he was like, that's what we're going to do. And he took care of his horse.
Hey, those
And
steeds are
spent
evil, but they are
hours
happy.
with that army, training them to march in time to be silent.
How scared do you think they all are
Yeah.
the whole time?
Also, can you imagine an army that starts walking and then the general stops and goes and looks up to the sky and everyone's supposed to stop and wait without questioning that? That's an interesting situation too.
I've been in those formations and you get this stupid accordion effect where people in the front stop, but they stop faster than the people behind them.
Yep.
So you get people bumping into each other and then like, woo, woo, woo. It's like a big
Classic.
jello. It's real stupid. So we've established that Bill Ferny sucks.
Yeah.
And Bill Ferny does not deserve a treat. But you know who deserves a treat is me.
All right. I think we can make that happen.
Ooh.
All right. This is kind of exciting and kind of fun. And it's in 2 acts.
Even better.
So this cocktail is the Tower of the Moon. Okay. So it's a fairly regular gin and tonic.
Okay.
I went with kind of it was a tea flavored gin to make it, I don't know, kind of corpse light appearance.
What flavor of tea is that?
I think it's an Earl Grey gin.
Earl.
But the really exciting part is going to happen when I turn off the lights.
The drinks are going to do something in the light when there's no light.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
I need to see it now.
All right. I need you to hold this flashlight.
Uh-huh.
I need you to hold it over the drinks. And when I turn off the lights, you're going to turn that flashlight on.
Not
Okay?
before, Chris.
Not before. You ready?
Now.
Stop screaming.
All right. Are you
Good
ready for
enough.
the Tower of the Moon cocktail?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Whoa! These drinks are shining blue.
They're glowing.
Like, it's just a gin and tonic, but apparently it also glows in the dark.
That is
Yeah.
so cool.
So
Damn.
apparently tonic water glows under black light.
That's so fucking
Tonic
great.
That is
water,
so
as it
cool.
turns out, is necromantic.
Exactly. It's magic.
Yay!
So my idea was, what was the line? The kidnapped moonlight or something?
Yeah.
Snap, dude.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh, that's
shit.
That is
fucking
so
cool as
cool.
hell.
Yeah, so these are the Tower of the Moon cocktail.
How did you figure that out?
The light of the moon, the internet.
Do you just like normally drink with black lights on your
No,
booze?
I'm not going to lie. I was really struggling with what on earth to make this week.
Oh my gosh.
There was no food in this chapter.
I'm not going to lie, Laura. When you rolled out with gin and tonics, I thought you were phoning this one in.
I mean, was I? I don't know.
No, this is cool as
That's
hell.
so cool. Yeah.
I tried.
She had that same thought many years ago when she married you.
Yeah, to be fair.
Was I?
Ooh.
Wait, what?
I didn't say anything.
What? You should try.
I'm going to be honest, Chris. I don't listen to most of what you say, but I feel like everybody's face is informing me of a situation.
Cheers! Hey, guess what? Those are our
Cheers.
wedding champagne
Let's
flavors.
call these the Kenny wedding drinks. Just be safe here.
Yeah, they show up in black light.
Mhm.
That's delicious.
Mm.
That
Gin and
is-
tonic with Earl Grey gin.
And
That's
for anyone who wants
refreshing.
a mocktail, I have what? It's just tonic, a little bit of
Lime
Snapple.
and a little bit of Snapple for color.
Ooh,
I apologize. I'm making you just drink straight tonic water.
that's okay.
This is delicious.
Who's Jim and Tonic? Jim?
Jim.
Well, guys, can you believe we only have 2 more chapters left
No.
of the 2 towers?
I can't believe that the Two Towers is coming to an end soon. Honestly, this has been a wild ride. What an incredible book so far. I legitimately feel like I am starting to understand the movie a bit more.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
helps a lot.
It only took 42 weeks.
Success.
Well, it's funny because when we watched The Fellowship of the Ring, I realized I didn't really quite understand the movie.
Mhm.
And now that I know that,
Are you ready for the Two Towers?
I'm like seriously like, oh my gosh, I'm very excited for this Two Towers movie. You
I'm
know?
so excited to watch the movie.
It's
Yeah.
already my favorite of the trilogy, and I'm
Really?
even more excited now that I
Yeah.
did a deep dive on the novel.
It makes me really excited for when I actually watch the movie because the end of the book is so interesting and I love how Tolkien's kind of concluding everything. It makes me wonder about the next chapter. What's the next chapter called?
Well, next chapter is chapter 9, Shelob's Lair.
Ooh.
Shelob's Lair.
What?
When we meet what a Shelob is, I will learn about her lair. Sounds good to me.
Love Shack. Baby Love Shack.
Shelob Shack's Shelob.
Love.
Patrick, you're ruining it. Guys, we love you. Thanks for tuning in to another amazing episode of Fool of a Tuck. This has been so fun hanging out with all of you guys. I must say the drink this week was phenomenal. As soon as we cut, I'm going to have 17 more of them per usual. But I just want to say thanks so much for tuning in. If you have not yet, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We have an audio platform. We have a video show that we have on YouTube. But let's say you don't want to do either one of those and you just want to subscribe to our stupid TikToks. Hey, there's a follow button. Click it. I'm telling you, the best of the best. Mwah. Anyway, I just want to say one final thing. Thank you so much for tuning in to Fool of a Took. The Two Towers is almost done. We got 2 chapters left. We have Shelob's Lair.
Yeah.
Shelob's Lair. Sounds like I'm saying She Loves Lair. That is next week, and I hope that you guys are following along in the book because, dude, this is getting intense, man.
Yeah.
We are almost at the end of the Two Towers. We are coming up upon the precipice of the War of the Ring. Things are crazy. I have tension. I'm getting louder. It's time for gin and tonic. And for me to say good night.
Good night.
Good night. I want 5 more of these.
All right, done.